And today on Showbiz India Celebrity Profile, it is indeed my pleasure to welcome the very beautiful Chandrika Ravi. Welcome to Showbiz India via Zoom. And say hi to all our viewers, please.
Thank you so much for having me. Hello, all Showbiz India viewers. I'm so excited to be here via Zoom. I'm glad we can still connect with everyone, thanks to the internet.
You did your debut film in Telugu, and then now you also have another film coming out in Tamil and Malayalam. How many languages do you speak?
Well, my debut film was actually in Tamil. I had two released in the first year, and then 3 months later I had a Telugu film come out. Meanwhile, during all of this, also shot a bilingual Tamil Malayalam film. So my mom's Tamil, my dad's Malayali, so I grew up with both of those languages. Over the years I picked up Hindi because, you know, every girl dreams of going to Bollywood, so that was just one thing that I picked up over the years by watching films, by taking classes. But Telugu was completely unbeknownst to me. I had no idea how to speak it. I found it way harder than Tamil, which people say is like the hardest language in the world. I found it very, very hard to grasp. So thank God my first Telugu film was like a quick role. You know, I didn't have to do much. But till today, I'm still dubbed because I obviously still have a very strong, you know, Australian American accent. So the goal now is to get like my pronunciation and everything like perfect, so I don't have to be dubbed anymore.
How was it growing in Australia? Where did you grow up in Australia? I think it's a beautiful country, by the way.
Thank you. Australia is actually just, I think it's so amazing because you can literally go from like rugged, the middle of Australia to like beautiful beaches to like built up CBD. But yeah, I was born in Melbourne. My mom and dad are from Singapore, and they actually moved to Melbourne when my mom was pregnant with me. And we lived in a little town where they'd never seen anyone of color or anyone with like black hair that wasn't indigenous. So when I was born with like long black hair, like I had hair down to my shoulders, they were like, what kind of baby is this? Like, what is this? So that kind of sets the tone of how I grew up. I didn't grow up with other Indian kids for many, many years, well, let alone anyone that wasn't, you know, Western brought up. And then my parents moved to Perth on the West Coast, which was a little more populated with, you know, Southeast Asians because of how close it is to Southeast Asia. Then, you know, I had a lot of like distant cousins and, you know, family members in Perth, but it was still very hard for me because my parents didn't bring me or my sister up very like, you're Indian, you can't do stuff. It was very, you know, you're born in Australia, you have to acknowledge both sides of your upbringing. You're not Indian, you're not Australian, you're both. So they allowed us, you know, wear bikinis or dress Western or whatever it is. But the one thing they said was you don't let go of your culture. So every Sunday we went to temple. I danced Indian dancing 5 days a week. So I did that, but then it was like a different life that I lived outside of that, outside of the Indian community. I was so big in the Western world and, you know, doing things for causes and stuff like that. But I hid that Indian side of me for so long because the Indians didn't resonate with me because they were like, she's too Western. And then the Indians were like, you know, and then the Westerns were like, she's too Indian, or she, you know, it's weird. So for a long time, I had that battle. Growing up, you, especially in those years that are so influential in your life, that's when you really have to figure out who you are. And it was like a switch turned in my head for prom. I woke up right before I decided what I was going to wear. I woke up one day and I told my mom, I was like, I want to wear a sari. I want to wear a sari to prom. And she was like, are you sure? And I was like, I want to wear a sari to prom. And I got fully decked out. And that's when I started realizing that I am in such an advantage to be born in a country like Australia, where there weren't people like me who were born there. There were people that moved there. So I was one of those people that managed to mesh both my lives together. And that's why I am who I am today, because I found a good medium with that.
When did the acting bug bite you?
So ever since I could walk, my parents have said that I've been the type of girl that walks into a room and says, everyone sit down, I have a show for you. You have to watch me right now. Please pay me. These are your, I could barely write. And I would write on paper and be like, this is your program. You know, this is what I'm performing today. And then growing up in Australia, obviously, when I go back to Singapore and I visit my cousins and stuff, I'd be like, you know, I've prepared a performance for us today. So you need to learn it. We have 1 hour to perform it. They'd be like, shut up. We don't want to do this. So ever since I was young, I was that girl. Like, I was like, hello, everyone, look at me. So just growing up, my parents, you know, were quite poor growing up. middle to lower class, but they made sure that they could do everything to put me into every class possible. So, you know, anything I felt like I wanted to do, like violin, I did it. You know, I learned piano, I learned guitar, I learned everything possible. So it literally bit me at, I would say since I was born. You know, my mom used to say when I was in her belly and they would play like my guru's bhajans and everything, I'd be like kicking hard, like if I hear the bells or the drums or anything like that. So I think it's just been like in my blood.
Describe the first time you realized you got a film. What did it feel like to you?
So, you know, I'd done a lot of work before that. I'd done a lot of commercials, you know, big name commercials. I'd done, you know, huge campaigns and magazines and all of that. I'd done it all, but there was always something missing, you know, and I had a lot of Bollywood opportunities before this, but I was still in school here for acting, and it just never felt right. I always said that, you know what, I feel like I want to do my own people's language first. I want to do something for my people first. And I'd gone to Bombay and I went for a couple meetings and things like that. And I met the director of that film. They were like, oh my God, we wish we met you earlier. We would have put you in the film. And I was like, you know what? Not meant for me. It's fine. And like 2 weeks later, they called me and they were like, we changed the script. We wrote you in. We absolutely loved who you were, you know, being this Australian, Indian, American but you speak Tamil and you can read and write Tamil. Like, wow, like we needed you in the film. And they put me in, and for a long time it was like shock because I had to leave LA, like basically pack up my stuff, move back home because I didn't know how long the shooting schedule was gonna be. So it didn't hit me until I was on set and I was like, oh my God, I did it. Like I actually did it. I did what I said I wanted to do. I wanted to do a Tamil or Malayalam film first in India, and it was just the satisfaction was just like insane. I till today I pinch myself when I think about it, going, it just fell into my lap, but it didn't at the same time. I worked my whole life basically for that one moment, you know, and the reception that you get from Indian people is just, if you do something right and they see what you're doing for our people, that is the feeling that I'm so grateful for every day.
Also, you're very familiar with the pageant world.
Yes.
You were the first Indian woman to be in the state finals for Australia. So how did that make you feel? What did you learn from that experience? You know, we do a pageant. I do it myself. It's more to inspire women and to empower women. I'm curious to see what you got out of the pageant world.
Well, that's amazing that you have a pageant, you know, that it's such an empowering feeling, especially when it's not just based on looks. When it's about your inner being and beauty, that's really what is great. So the year that I did it, I was actually working in Singapore at Universal Studios, one of the odd jobs I'd done before, you know, kind of making it. So this was like my time to go, you know what? This is my time to show people that I'm not just taking pictures or doing things. I'm actually doing things behind the scenes. I had created foundations to help Indigenous children in Australia, teaching them arts, so that they just have an outlet to do something other than the things that they're forced into. You know, I dance as a volunteer, so I teach dancing as a volunteer. I was dancing shows as a volunteer just to spread the Indian culture. So that was my time to show, like, look, I'm not just taking a bikini photo for a magazine or whatever. I'm doing this, like, this is my time to tell people, like, Indian people can be looked at as a Bond girl and can do all the philanthropic stuff they want to do. So, and then, you know, like going through the list, because I could actually see who was in the list, going through the list and just going, I'm the only Southeast Asian Indian girl. Like, I'm the only Indian girl in this. And that too, being born in Australia, like, wow, this is like my time to really put us on the map.
And you've become quite a social media influencer. Was this something that just organically happened?
I honestly have been doing it for a long time, but I realized that I had an advantage when I became famous in India, because I realized that there weren't any crossover artists that did that. I mix East and West a lot. So that's when I started noticing, like, oh, the followers, like my men followers are always going to be there, but the female followers are increasing because they want to see, oh, what is Chandrika Ravi wearing today? Or what is Chandrika Ravi wearing tomorrow? And because my look wasn't so ethnic, more and more companies were working with me. More and more companies were reaching out. So even now in this pandemic, I'm still working basically full time because I still have influencing work to do.
Obviously, you're busy during this quarantine. What would you like to say to the viewers about being quarantined and staying at home and staying safe?
Like you said, the most important thing is that we all stay home and we all stay safe. You know, we have to do this for our grandparents and our parents, you know, our children, future children. So the one thing I will say to people is just relax. Take this time for yourself. I've been telling everyone this. Take this time for yourself. Go inside. Think about those feelings that you have inside and why you have those feelings. Like someone like me, I'm alone. I live by myself. My family's in Australia. So I've really had to look inside and bring the positivity out instead of the negativity. And I've been happy every day because I've done that every day. You know, meditate, listen to bhajans, watch Hindi films or Indian films or whatever it is that makes you happy. Just enjoy this time with yourself, because this really is a one-on-one time that you have with yourself.
And thank you so much. We sent some of our beauty products to you. I don't know if you had a chance to try anything. I would love to know what you thought.
Yeah, so I'm waiting to use the hair mask. I can't wait to do that. As soon as I wash my hair, I'm going to be using that. But I used the turmeric cream and the oil, and I absolutely loved it. So I have eczema and plaque psoriasis, actually. And especially now, because it's still a little chilly in LA, it's still there. And I used it. It's been 2 days now, I think, that I've used it. And actually, my plaque psoriasis has actually gone down. So I'm actually really, really happy about that.
Yes, do try the deep conditioning hair mask. That's my go-to product.
Your hair is fantastic.
Thank you, thank you. And you know, our goal is, you know, we're a women-owned company. All my partners are women.
Which is amazing.
And we want to promote our Indian culture to the mainstream. That's what the mission of our company is. So thank you so much for supporting us. What can we look forward to in the future from you on films or TV?
So my Tamil Malayalam film, Un Kadal Irundal, should be coming out soon. Obviously now with this pandemic, we don't have any release dates yet. So hopefully when that comes out, it will be a big hit. That's actually my first Malayalam film. So I'm excited to go to my dad's side of the country. And I'm also working on 2 projects here in the US. One is a scripted show, and one is a docu-reality series based on myself, following my life and my journey and the things that I'm doing out here, the auditions I'm going to and things like that. Hopefully we can finish filming by the end of this year. And then you guys will be able to see me on regular TV.
Absolutely. Keep us updated. That sounds
absolutely
fantastic. So thank you again for taking this time. Chandrika, we wish you continued success and may your star continue to rise.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so, so grateful for this. We would love to speak to you again. And thank you to all the Showbiz India viewers for watching.